Hello, this is my third video in relation to looking at computer science resources that are OER. The last video, number 2, looked at some really strong examples of them and how they can be used. This one is a quick overview. There's 2 other websites that aren't computer science but do have some interesting principles. So I'm going to take over my screen, and as a reminder, we looked at those 4 last time. We're going to have a quick look at the Flat World project and also the NOVA project. So the Flat World project, I've got too many tabs open here, do bear with me, looks something like this. So this is not OER, but again, I'm just showing you this so you have an idea as to what your work does or indeed could look like. So the Flat World project is quite interesting in that when you register, it allows you to do a number of activities. Now, there aren't any computer science books here specifically, but there are a variety of subjects that are, but that are here, but it's the principles that I'm after here. So let's supposing you wanted a college success book, you can then go and buy at a relatively good price being $24 for one copy, or a lot more cheaper if you buy in bulk, a book that's already pre-written, or you can then go and customize, and if you wanted to, it lets you create a book that you can customize. Now I can't, because I've asked for permission to be seen as an educator, and that's in the post, as it were, or in the email, but hasn't come through yet. But this one lets you adapt what you want. So effectively, you can handpick what goes into this book. So if you wanted a book around chemistry, say, there is nothing stopping you going and taking all the bits from the books that you like and creating your own copies. So the books are quite limited. You know, Ball has clearly been busy and is producing these 3 books on atoms, introductory chemistry, and the basics, but it lets you effectively select and hand pick, cherry pick the sections of each book that you want, and you can put a title on it, and then you pay for that to be done to you. Now, the entire premise of Flat World Knowledge is they say they want it to be good value, basically. So they're encouraging people to choose and personalize books, and then they can buy it in bulk for a relatively cheap price. So it's not OER, but that's the principle that I am wanting to talk about today. The fact that there are these websites out there where you can handpick, you pay a reduced price because it's written by people in-house, like enthusiastic amateurs, I guess would be the description, although I'm sure Bull is very good at writing credentials, and you can put together what you want. Psychology as well, you know, a couple of books there, and you choose and pick the ones you want to do, and you go from there. So that's one side that I was going to show you about. The other one that I think is the most interesting is the one called the NOVA project. Now, there's a really interesting journal article all about the NOVA project, which I'll share in part 1. So why this is really interesting is that their model initially started by offering a free psychology textbook, and very few people bought into it. It's only when they had a second business model where they actually charged people and said, you can have it for free, but we encourage you to buy the book, so we'll print it for you, and you can also get extra services, so we can do extra functionality if you're willing to pay. And that took off incredibly successfully. And you'll notice, in sharp contrast to the previous version, they're stressing the Creative Commons license there, and sure enough, it talks about the fact that you can print if you want. There we go. But again, this is exactly the same. It lets you edit a book and put it together. Now, there's not many books that they have. You'll see it's all about sort of psychology. They're blessed with an awful lot there. But let's suppose the history of psychology. What I can then do is just download it as an entire PDF, or I can then go in and start adapting it. Now you see here under instructor resources, which is what I've signed up to, they have a ton of resources already. So they have not only the PowerPoints, the PDFs of the journals that you can adapt, but you can also get all the presentations, all the tests, example essays, etc., that accompany that. So for this, it's not just the book that you're buying, it's all the ancillary extra services, which is why I think they found it as sort of the sweet spot in the market. It's OER, but you can pay for extra functionality if you want. So that's why it's a really interesting business model as to how OER could work. It's done really good to a really good standard. You can even do online tests to do all the marking of your tests for your students as well. I haven't got that because I haven't got the right permissions, but it is pretty smart, really. It's very straightforward, and it's a nice way to show you how OER and Creative Commons can be used for the greater good. So I'm just going to check what's in my library. There we go, build a textbook. So here, let's say maturations. I don't know if that's going to bring up anything. There we go. So I'm going to then just drag it in, the bits that I need. And then what I need to do is drag them in like this. And then if I'm done, I can publish textbook. And again, it says other people can see them, but I can then buy it to print if I want, and there's a cost to it, or I can then download it as a PDF format, and you'll see in a second it whiz away. And there's my new textbook, imaginatively titled. That chap there has done all the research. Those are the researchers there who've done a ton of papers on this. Really interesting, and you'll see, you know, enter section name here. I've not filled it in properly, but you've got all your text there, so you can in theory have a free textbook, well referenced. It's a really high quality book, and it's free. I think it's a really interesting model. So just a quick look at those two. I hope that was useful, and I hope you've enjoyed the 3 videos. Thank you.